Hey guys, welcome back to the Slice&Dice podcast. I'm Jono.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Phil.
And we thought we'd get back because I've been away for a little bit. I wasn't here on the last one, just because of family enjoyment time, I suppose. Legoland. It was just one of those awkward situations where I knew I was going to Legoland, but knew I was podcasting at the same day. And I just thought, no, I can't get back for this. So, we had to sacrifice that. A good chat with you guys, but no, you seem to you rocked it.
Yeah,
it was a good episode.
Thank you.
So how have we been?
Pretty good. Yeah.
Can't complain. It's been a quiet one since Derby was my last event.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been extremely quiet, just like playing less and being more playing for fun, whatever that is.
That's kind of what happens in a latter half of a set, I've found, is that you've played from your best hand, I suppose, at the beginning of a set and gone, I think I've got a good deck here, and you roll it out for as long as you can, and then later in the set you kind of go, let's try something else.
Absolutely.
Let's play for enjoyment's sake. You know.
Yeah.
It's been quite a competitive one because it's been a more extensive competitive season than we've seen for a few years.
Well, this is my first competitive season, really.
Yeah. You've had the highs and lows, right? Yeah,
because my first event was Huddersfield last year, which was like the end of the season, and then I did Winter Cup, and then that's it. And now it's this season.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You've had all the, because you didn't really do much competitive in Yu-Gi-Oh, did you?
not really. No.
You've had all the like feelings of competitive play, which is the good and the bad, you know.
Yeah.
I think we've all been there. I think, this is my only TCG, and so I can safely say I've only got this experience. But yeah, at the beginning of my TCG experience, it was very much competitive. Was just in my mind having fun because I was trying to be competitive, but I knew I wasn't that high tier.
Yeah.
Whereas you've come from a game where you've got a good knowledge on the game, of TCGs in general.
I think you and I didn't expect to do anything for the first couple of years playing the game competitive wise, did we? We just turned up and went, look at my deck.
And I think like it was,
Final Fantasy VII's so cool, you guys.
and it was like almost like if you felt like you were trying to do something good, it was already done. So it was just like, well, I'll just I appreciated the fact that I learned a lot from doing that though.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I think it's been safe to say it's been enjoyable for me. I think this set just gone.
Still looking forward to Continentals. It's the last Opus 22 event in England, right?
Yeah. Before Materia Cup, I think Materia Cup are just on that 2 week gap,
and they'll be in 23.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Huddersfield. Like I've taken a long enough breaks, and it's like I'm ready to see if I can do any better. And now I've chosen my deck, so
that's good.
Good. I'm glad you've settled. Oh no, well, maybe not.
Well, like I've settled on like a deck, but like like we've got people locally who have played the same deck all set and will do brilliantly. And I think it's more just like expectations of if I can do better than Derby, which is not a bar, then we're fine.
I really like the deck you've selected anyway, so I think you can do well. Just learn your lines and you
just gotta be
just learn your lines, have fun.
Yeah, Cat 13's great. What? Just go play Cat 13 again. You know?
I feel like if you know,
Ixion appears. No.
Yeah.
LB Cloud's too good.
That'll be
13
painful.
suffered.
But yeah, it's gonna be nice. And Continentals is like gonna be my first 2-day event that isn't a Winter Cup. So I'm kind of I loved Winter Cup for like the 2-day lads holiday thing, and I know that the Continentals isn't as much of that, but still.
Yeah. It's a weekend away.
It's not going to be as good as our Winter Cup was. That was so good.
I keep thinking that something's going to happen because when we spoke about Continentals like last time we were on podcast together, you two just looked at each other and went, Continental? And I was like, what is this? Like, did a thing happen?
No.
That's just our like classic synergy. We love saying words in a silly way.
I think it was that recollection and we just looked at each other and like, yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. But the Continental thing is, I think I'm on the same train as you, is that I haven't been to a weekend event apart from Winter Cup. I haven't actually attended anything like Crystal Cups and
Nationals.
Yeah, Nationals. I haven't done any of that stuff. So this has actually been quite fun. I'm not anticipating any sort of major results, but it's one of.
I think you can do good.
You did well at Nottingham. So.
I know I can try.
Yeah. Don't talk yourself into doing badly.
No. I'm only. I don't feel like I want to put too much pressure on myself. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Always important to have fun.
Yeah, exactly. But no, you're right. Like having a 2-day event that's not Winter Cup is actually quite an experience in itself. I'm assuming, because I don't know about you. You've been to a few yourself, right, Sam?
Only a couple.
Crystal Cup.
They're never as good as Winter Cups. You know?
No,
I haven't been. I don't know if I've been to a Crystal Cup. You know.
Did you not? What was the Brotherhood one? That was the really sweaty room. Which is going to be what
could have been
Materia
a
Cup
Cup
is.
Could have been.
Because that's this coming Materia Cup is a sweaty day. Or sweaty 2 days.
The, what do they call it? It's it's almost a community centre. But yeah, anyway.
Okay.
It's, it's not a modern room.
Okay. I'm going to have to miss that one, unfortunately, because I had to choose one or the other. Either Crystal Cup, Continental or Materia Cup.
Yeah.
And I've gone for the Continental because it just seems closest and dates are best for me. So.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to balance your responsibilities and your hobbies and stuff, haven't you? At the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
nice.
We're looking forward to it. Well, hopefully there won't be too many people going there with the lull of the end of a set. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously it's despite the fact that the new set's been released. It's in that 2-week window where everyone's going, I want to play these new cards.
There might be a lot of people asking for friendlies on Opus 23 decks, won't there? Maybe.
Most possibly, yeah.
I can't deal with the new set jimmies that are already rusted.
Yeah, I'm kind of weirdly cathartic to me that you've got that feeling that I've suffered with a lot of the time. Because you're so keen to go to the new set. You're already thinking about what you're playing. You don't feel bad about changing sets.
No.
Whereas I've always had that
Do you get the dissociation when you look at your deck and you go, you're dead to me now, but I still love you. I don't want my deck. I look at it's like when Cat 6 died to me, and I'm like, but I love it so much, but it's shit. It's like I can't let it go, and then I just dissociate.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. It does feel bad, doesn't it? When you're you love some cards and you're like, these are getting power crept into oblivion.
I think where my fun is that it's because I get that because I'm looking at my warriors going, it's going to be changing, it's going to morph into something that is not what it was, But I think
Tyvas better still be relevant next set. Otherwise, the power creep's too strong.
He is going to be, but what I'm saying is that the whole overall set cards that are in my deck is going to change. It's going to morph. It's going to do that and change into something else. But what I'm saying is that, for me, I've found that looking forward to a new set, I've been able to, my brain's gone, there's all these new avenues that have just popped up, and I've gone, I need to explore these. When I'm in the middle of a set, I kind of go, well, everyone's done that for me. You know what I mean? So I can't be the creative one anymore. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I do have the urge to jump on the creativity to try and vaguely pioneer something, although there's some good minds around the place pioneering. Right?
That's been me. I've gone a new set comes out, I go, I've got all these ideas, I'm going to put them all down on paper. Shit, when I get to play it.
And then the next few weeks everyone does all the ideas better than you.
And it's well, I'll just play their ideas then.
I feel like your brain right now can be displayed by a curve, and the curve is labeled, one axis is how functional the deck is, and the other axis is how many Final Fantasy 9 cards can I put in it.
Oh yes, absolutely. That's where it's going. How many times can I squeeze this specific monster in? That's cat 9, and I've got ideas.
But new set's gonna be fun. And actually, I was very scared by Opus 22 when it first got released, because the cards were all so powerful looking that I couldn't quite comprehend what was going to happen. And this time I'm in a similar boat, but I'm actually looking forward to a lot of these cards, because I think I said it earlier, and without going in, I'm not going to rate it yet, but for example, new Sarah, the Lightning Sarah, for me, I can relate it to Fang, because Sarah power reduces things if you control so many characters, whereas Fang boosts things if you control so many characters. So I'm kind of already drawing parallels and thinking, okay, I could use it in a similar fashion. So I'm not as scared by this set, so I'm more excited.
And I think that I was kind of slightly blocked from looking at this new set as strongly as I usually do, because I'm usually on your boat, what to brew, new toys, oh my goodness, I'm going to find the combo, going to break the meta. but then also I'm on the tail end of cube fever, right?
Yeah,
it's
you've been
finally
sweating
over.
at 2:00 in the morning, boxing up.
How many hours have I put into that project? It's so crazy.
You're still not like, I mean, this has been what, 2 podcasts now that you've been to, like, that's 2 months of
no, it's like 2 or 3 podcasts. Hasn't it?
Yeah.
I've mentioned it. But it is over.
Pauper Cube. It's not over.
Well, it's, I mean, creating
it's over. That's
in time for a new set to then update it.
Yeah. We'll have to go through the whole 500 cards and just rip out.
Well, I mean, at least they'll just like pick, 30 odd cards from the new set.
And at least it's Pauper as well, so you don't have to go the whole 140 cards.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't look through them.
But yeah, that's kind of the reasoning that I've not like been laser focused on the new set as much as I usually am, which makes me a bit sad because I do like a good brew, but it's only so much like over intensive hobby focusing you can do, right?
Exactly.
I need to find that picture that I put in the group, in our little group chat, where it was the one I like tagged you and said, "Sam, is this you?" And you were like, that incurable fever I get every set when all I do is deck build for like 6 months solid.
Yeah.
I need to find it. It's like that little mouse wearing a gremlin hat. You were like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah. You used to get the like brunt of that, didn't you? Just me sending FF decks like 2 or 3 a day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a little plague mat, and it's holding some cranberries and also a Magic the Gathering card, and it's got a little hat on. It says, "I am plagued by deck building ideas."
That is very me.
Get the doctor.
That's been me a lot of FFTCG. Yeah.
Yeah. No, back in the day. I mean, you still do it now, where you throw a deck at me, and I'm just like, cool. And in my mind, I'm going, I don't know what I could do to like give you the best sort of feedback on this. It looks like you've just gone off piste and just like made this really cool wacky deck, and I'm just gone, well, that's a deck.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Give me some ways to improve my Emperor FFL Siren Monsters deck. Come on. It's not so hard.
Well, you've got some new monsters now, so
it's true.
I suppose you can
true.
find
The new
a way.
set might crack that deck. Who knows?
Oh my gosh.
Bloody hell.
Black Box S. It's gonna crack the meta, I swear. Sure.
It's gonna be like that list I saw in FF decks where it's like breaking the meta and it's just all the black waltzes for some reason. Similar levels of like, huh?
Yeah. You sent me.
I'm almost that deluded when I have these ideas.
You sent me that deck, and I was just very, very confused.
What meta is it breaking?
Its own meta. It's breaking
Have you
itself.
ever noticed there's like every like 10 visits to FF decks, there's someone who's put too many light or dark cards in a deck, and like for some reason that's like the novel idea everyone always has, and it's always awful. And I'm like, why is this always trending?
Typically I go to like what's it number 1 trending sort of spot, and if I click on it and it looks trash, I'm like, how did it get here? I bet it was just basically the name that it was given. Do you know what I mean? The really classy name that it was given. I go, maybe that was.
I simultaneously love and hate that there's just like deck builders out there who are just horrendous, and but they're sharing it around and getting popular on the internet anyway.
Have we just discovered like an underground deck building ring? Is there some sort of profitable scheme?
Phil, don't forget about the first rule of underground deck building ring. Come on.
That's between us 3.
Is this what Steve D meant when he said that only 10% of people do the world deck building? Is it deck building club?
Yeah.
There's loads of guys that meet up on a Friday night in like Glasgow underneath a bar.
I love the idea that it's Glaswegians too.
Like noir settings, hat.
Yeah.
Steve D just smoking a cigar. He's like, hey.
I told him his 20 forwards dark deck was bad. He punched me in the face. Anyway, should we talk about something real?
That sounds perfect.
So Norwich, shall I cover that?
That's the real thing.
Yeah. Just to kind of give everyone the heads up, we will be covering the legends of Opus 23 Hidden Trials. We're gonna do a fun little thing where we're putting them into a tier and seeing how far we get with that.
A tier list. More specifically.
Yeah, not we just cry over them. But
You said Jimmy, strike again.
Cry over the new cards.
But I still like box 6.
God.
it's me as well. It's me as well, Phil. I'm burning myself too.
Okay.
But we thought we'd discuss the most recent event that these two have been to, minus me. So, Norwich.
Well, I didn't go, Sanders.
Did you not?
No.
Oh, okay. Maybe I was just making it up in my head.
I was meant to be going, but I had to back out because of my friends coming down from Glasgow.
Ah, fair enough. Yeah. That's Glasgow.
So yeah, Norwich.
Enlighten us on the enjoyment.
Ant drove me and Alfie down. That was nice. Nice to have a little lads on tour. Terrible 3-hour drive. No, it was all right. It was okay.
Did the Master Freak make it into
Yeah. It was real Master Freak hours, but I don't know if we should go into that.
I think you need to describe Master Freak now, just so podcast isn't like what happened.
Yeah. We just sound like we're like genuine degenerates. No,
I'm genuinely curious. It's the first time I'm hearing this name. Who is Master Freak?
And Satnav is Master Chief on Waze, the app.
Yeah.
And he's very, like, stay frosty, like, and all that business.
Oh, yeah. And
I don't know what some of the other quotes are that sound a bit more salacious, but...
The one that brought out the Master Freak was because when we got close to someone, he was like, we're getting close. And Alfie was like, oh, Master Freak, stop it. So now Ant Satnav is just Master Freak.
That sounds brilliant.
Yeah, no, it was a fun car ride with all these shenanigans. He also, on the map, his car was displayed as... Gru's car from Despicable Me. It's like a stupid needle thing.
Oh my god.
But anyway, cards.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so Norwich, it was a regional, so it was meant to be bigger than a celebration. I was like, psyched, yes, get to do a 30-man event, let's go. Turn up, 15 players. I'm like, what's happening? And so you've got Norwich locals, Lewis from London. What's his name? Crafty Piker from the YYT.
Oh, you mean Paul?
Aggro dude.
Oh,
no, really friendly guy.
Yeah, Paul.
I'm really bad with names.
Yeah, he's Ice Lightning. Yeah,
there's so many Pauls in FFTCG.
Yeah.
From YYT.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
He was the one that was at Griffin's Gaming in Birmingham. Same guy.
No, not that guy.
Oh, not him. Oh,
Aggro guy.
Oh.
He donked me with like weird, like just fire lightning haste in the Dice Cup like last year.
I can't remember.
Crafty Piker. Anyway. He was in the room.
The name rings a bell, but I can't put it.
He was on
Nights
Nights
to the face.
But he didn't do as well as our buddy Alfie, who was also on Nights, who got to top 4.
Yep.
Which was awesome. But anyway, yeah. So tiny room. It's half it's half Dice Cup locals, half Norwich locals, and then like the odd guy.
A 15th.
Shall I go through my games?
Yeah.
So it's so annoying because my first game was like the thing that decided everything for my result.
Oh shit.
Sit down, guys on fire, water, warriors. Essentially Mick Mole build, similar build to what you run, Jono.
Yeah.
It's the mirror. My brain's racing. I'm telling myself to slow down, but it's not working really. I do my Tyvas before his. My brain's like, Tyvas Mog, it will ruin him. He won't have removal in his hand because he can't search. It's perfect. It's not perfect, it's stupid. He just goes, all right, Tyvas, I break my Mog. He just goes, yeah, okay, Axstar, Ward. He had all the removal warriors in his hand.
Oh no.
Murders my Tyvas.
Oh.
I draw another Tyvas, but I should have spent a bit more time on this. I don't think I had access to a board wipe. But I should have at least looked at LB Shantotto to see if that would have worked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you run the Earth version of the deck, yeah.
And I probably didn't have enough Earth because I only run 19 or 18 Earth cards anyway, and I doubt my backup was Earth. So go for Tyvas again to try and kill his Tyvas. Go for it, but then I realised I have to kill his Axstar because his Axstar kills my Tyvas on the backswing. Mm-hmm. So I kill his Axstar because your Axstar doesn't freeze their Axstar. Fucking mirror matches, you know?
Yeah.
And then he's not had to replay a Tyvas, so that value burst keeps him ahead, and then I just slowly lose the game, hence the mirror. And I really I just really misplayed it because like I'm on Earth Fire with a splash of water, So I should have lent into the fact that I've got more search than him.
Yeah.
And we should have just been waiting for each other to Tyvas, like getting a really nice hand, knowing that you can kill their Tyvas if they play it first. And we should have just been doing that war. And I think I might have won that war in ice in a vacuum. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's plenty of luck involved, but yeah, I should have lent on those searches to try and give me the edge. But instead, I just went and then I win the next 3 games.
Yep.
And I'm the only person who went 3-1 that didn't get into top 4.
Yeah, you can fit.
And I was like, damn it! Yeah, 5th.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
Oh,
but shout out to Dice Cup boys. Sean took the win.
Yay.
Let's go. The Sean-tron comes through.
Yeah.
We love that. I don't know what the placings 2nd and 3rd were.
I believe
think
Kinney was 2nd.
Kinney, yeah. So it was the final was Sean and Kinney, which is great because they were also the final in Birmingham, and Kinney won that one.
Was it Derby?
Derby, sorry.
Derby.
Kinney won that one.
Yeah.
And now Sean wins the one.
It's like
in
a
Norwich, so it's like
rivalry
become this cool rivalry.
Yeah.
Which I like. 4-colour wall versus Sean-tron. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the 3rd place was that Warriors player that I played in round 1, and it was just so could have had Dice Cup top 4, so frustrating.
Oh well.
But such is life,
And Alfie was 4th.
Yeah. So shout out to Alfie. He beat in his first round maybe. He beat Lewis, one of the best players. Yeah.
Really?
One
what
of the
was
best.
Lewis on? Do you know?
Icewind Storm.
Oh, okay.
Which is obviously nice.
that-
Is a tough matchup for Icewind Storm.
very.
That makes sense then. But at the same time,
But I was psyched though because Lewis, I actually informed Alfie of how quiet Lewis is in games. So I was like, don't be psyched out. He's not going to talk, but just do your best.
Oh, is that how Alfie was
play to
talking about? And this isn't smack talk at all. But is that how Alfie was talking about? He was like, I couldn't get over that person who was really quiet. It was really, really odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a good strategy to be
It's a very good
because it's
strat,
very
yeah.
very unnerving for your opponents. So and I think I've got no reason to believe Lewis isn't a nice nice guy.
Oh, 100%.
He is.
It's a valid play.
I don't think I've ever had really more than a handful of words with him, but I'm from what everyone has said.
He's a quiet player. So.
He's a quiet player. Hey, well, exactly. But yeah, no, it's interesting because I've played against him, and I know that someone who's brand new to the game coming up against that sort of an energy, you would think, oh gosh, that's really this is not what I'm used to. I'm so used to my guys sitting around and chatting and having a joke and stuff, or even being up against an opponent that may have some sort of comeback or talk or whatever.
Yeah.
But to have that shut off front is very kind of intimidating.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the rules though about declaration and stuff. I don't believe so. It's not that I don't think it's a strategy. It's just some people don't see the need to.
Yeah.
It's like a communication style.
You would assume that
when
everyone
he
knows the
declares
players.
targets, he just points with his finger. So
Yeah.
So I think he's technically doing everything really legally. It's just
Exactly.
one of
Yeah.
them.
Because it's normally more of a common courtesy that you just announce all of your stuff. Because then if you don't announce. I don't know, you play your Tyvus and then you just tap it instead of saying search when you've announced everything else. We're like, Judge, he didn't declare his search with Tyvus, or whatever. It's probably a bad example, but...
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of an example where you have to use words, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, no,
you can always point at cards, right?
Yeah, it's a good strat only because it puts a lot more mental strain on your opponent to have to pay very diligent attention to what's happening because you might not know what that card does that they point to. So yeah, they're pointing to it. You're like, what does that mean? Oh, is it a search? Oh, ugh.
I've actually seen some high level players have games just in silence like that, though. So I think it is a certain kind of play style where.
But I also think it's interesting. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
It's kind of interesting because I think I should learn some sort of cues and stuff like that because when it comes to say for example taking damage, I just take the top card and put it to the damage.
You want to tap your deck to announce.
I see everyone tapping it and I'm going, why are they tapping?
I had
don't
to explain
understand.
that ruling to you, didn't I?
It makes sense just to go, well, you're taking damage, so take the damage. You don't need to tap it for it's one of those things where you kind of go, oh, it's when you leave the house, making sure the door's locked by rattling the handle. Do you know what I mean? It's double checking stuff.
It's for me, a Coke can, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's also bad. You're doing something very negative for your opponent. They could judge call you if you take damage without saying I'm taking damage.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's a priority window.
So typically I would voice that, but then I'm also moving at the same time. So yeah, I need to learn and get into a better habit of being more I'm going to take damage what are you going to do?
Yeah, good etiquette would be you tap it or say damage, and then they nod at least.
Yeah. Because I've learned that by playing against, say, you and anyone else, like in big tournaments and stuff like that. I've had to learn that myself, and especially when, say, for example, playing online when you've got no one to talk to. Typing it out, saying damage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I feel like this would make a great thing that I only ever see in like America on TV. Like when you get sent to HR and they make you watch a compliance video so you don't like say rude things to your coworker. It should be like a really bad like vaporwave VHS of like how to communicate properly with your opponent in FFTCG.
That's your next video idea, mate.
Have you been judge called in FFTCG for not declaring your effect? Well, today.
Your video starts with the classic like, did you apply deodorant this morning?
Oh no! So what was your round 2? I don't think have we got to your round 2?
Do you want to?
I was glossing over those just because for briefly, but I'll go quick fire on the others. So round 2, I got sent down, and I reckon it was against a local of Norwich.
Yeah,
he was on Water Lightning Cadets.
Oh.
So it probably had the Hooded Man engine and stuff.
Right.
Don't know if he had FF8 in there. I didn't see him, but I just went. I just did my generic line of play, back up, Tyvas, Mog, and then he was like, "Oh, my deck's all searchers," and then he just like crumbled because just by the pressure of Mog.
Sounds relatively free.
It was really it was unfortunately for him. I think it was just I think he needed an Ixion. Basically, it was draw Ixion or die kind of territory for him.
Yeah, fair.
Or like I think he tried a Garuda, and I amatted it. What are you going to do at that point?
Yeah.
Next game was Likey.
Okay.
It was a controversial one, actually, because I played a Cyan, and I wasn't sure if I'd used Fire CP, because he didn't call it out till later. But I was already... Everyone said it looked like I was already winning anyway. He had a weird game. He played, like... His opening was Alcid... Another 4-drop that doesn't do a lot.
Was he still on Shauntron?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, on Kieran Deck, and then he played all of his LB cards.
Yeah.
And then eventually he just lost to
okay.
Axlar Tyvas stuff.
Interesting.
And then last game was against Wads.
Yeah.
Nice player. He was really. I remember seeing him play earlier, and he was shaky, but he was doing well, obviously, to be 2-1 at that point. But power of Mog. He spent all game not playing his Knacked. He was playing his backup searchers, and I was letting him search there. So that his Knacked was just like, he had to kill this before he could play his Knacked. And then he killed it eventually and didn't play a Knacked in the same turn. I just played another Mog 6 afterwards. It's so disgusting, yeah.
Mog 6 is so undervalued.
Warriors is a really gross deck, so I can imagine a lot of people hate it, but at least I've got my like little twist on it. So, but
yeah,
more deck building, more interesting stuff next set.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Talking about next set, shall we do a tier list?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
So we're going to be doing, whilst I get the recording set up for the video bit of it, so if you're on YouTube, you will see, or shortly see, or have seen at some point, I'm going to be recording the screen so that you guys can now see a tier list on the screen of how we're going to sort out the cards. So at the bottom of the screen, we've got all of the legends from this set, all 14 of them from this set, and then we're going to be putting them in a tier list. So the top being like the S tier, the absolute best, and the bottom being the D tier. So we give them some funky names. So we've got the good old bonus burst for the best cards ever.
Bonus burst,
and it's all the love for that phrase, because that's been like since it came from overseas. That phrase on like all those events, we just like meme about it. But it's good because it means it is the best.
The S tier.
S tier.
The best.
Oh no! And then what have we done?
And then next up for A tier underneath, we've got LB Leo. It's just such a solid card.
It's just good.
You just play it all the time.
Yeah, that was the tier we were struggling for a name for, and this is the LB Leo just seems to fit perfectly for
he's
the
very A tier. He's really good, but he doesn't win a game on his own.
Yeah,
exactly. And then we've got for our B tier, just like the most average card that's still okay. It's a soiree member.
Solid. Just solid.
Just a solid soiree member right there.
Just put soirees into a deck. You're golden, you're not gonna come last.
No.
And then sort of like those cards where you're like, that is indeed a piece of cardboard that is neither good nor bad. It's just cardboard tier.
Yep.
It's just C tier. just cardboard. And if that's stuff,
even.
and then the stuff for just when it's just awful. So why does it exist? The brother tier. So we'll see if we get any legend. It'll be quite an achievement if there's any legends in the brother tier.
Yeah, you can't.
You say there's quite an achievement. There's a brother legend every set.
I can't
Trust me.
What's a brother legend that comes to mind? Like if we ever think
Dorgan last set.
Dorgan last set. No, I still don't think he's a brother. I think he's cardboard. But
I love that sentence. I think he's cardboard.
Has he been like in any deck you've ever seen?
I tried, but no. It's not.
He's for a legend. Like a legend should not be unplayable.
Yeah.
So
theory,
let's roll into it. So I'll read out the first one, and then we'll go around. We'll go around this way.
Sure.
I'm not that the podcast can see this way. So our first legend is Caius. So he is a 5-drop fire forward. He is a guardian of the Cirrus from Cat 13. He's got Brave, and it says, when Caius enters the field, you may search for one card named Bahamut and add it to your hand. During this turn, the cost required to cast your next card named Bahamut is reduced by 5, so making it free. Woo! Well, maybe. When Caius is put from the field into the break zone, you may discard 3 cards. When you do so, play Caius from the break zone onto the field, dull, and he has 9,000 power.
Nice.
Okay.
I like this card.
I think it's good. I think, well, in the fact that you get to pluck a card out of the deck to immediately play.
Yeah. Tybus style.
That's always good, you know. For 5 CP, Tybus. You know what I mean? It's a similar sort of caveat, and plus he's a sticky forward. But you are minimizing hand size.
Yeah.
To do so.
Well, this is definitely an aggro card, right? So I think what you do is you use your other cards to aggro your opponent, and then when your opponent starts building boards, this is when you play this guy. Like in the mid game. Then you've got your super cheap Bahamuts to clear up their threats, and then if they kill him, discard 3, replay him. Which, for an aggro deck, that's the same as playing a 4-drop.
And interestingly,
which is decent.
Yeah, and interestingly, when he comes in, you tap your however many backups you have, say 3 backups, and discard 1 to pay for him. You cast your Bahamut from deck. If you have Muti activates.
Yep.
So then it's costing 4 CP effectively.
Yeah.
To do that.
Becomes free basically.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah. The free summon and Tybus nature of him is what makes him quite solid.
Oh yeah.
I think like the discard 3 replay him sounds great, but I'm a little bit like discard 3 is.
Do you think
hefty.
Do you think the discard ability would trigger with, say, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, Black Waltzes?
Yeah, it's an ability.
So then you're adding extra damage on top if you're discarding them.
Yeah,
potentially. Yes.
No, it's your own abilities that trigger Black Waltzes.
Yes,
that's correct.
Of course, that would trigger it.
If it's an ability that forces you to discard as a cost of an ability.
Yeah.
So that would
Yeah, and it's not paying a cost like off the stack; it's on the stack.
Plus the two that I'm thinking of are actually in color of, say, for example, Cat 13.
Yeah, Fire Lightning.
Yeah. It's an interesting thought.
Anyway. Yeah, or Fire Ice.
Yeah, Ice as well. All 3 of them are in element. I mean, for this guy, I know we've said he's pretty good. I'm still feeling Soiree member, like generally in like the field of a meta.
Yes.
Like overall of a meta.
Right.
He definitely goes in a tempo or an aggro deck. I'm thinking LB Leo for this guy.
But like
A tier for me, you know.
Okay, it's just like I'm thinking like, you know, like if, for example, if he was in this set we're just in, he's like, is he going to be in every single deck? Is he going to be in every single aggro deck like LB Leo?
I think you have to build. I think he goes in Cat 13 decks. I think you can chuck him in a fire aggro deck though, right? That's not Cat 13. If you've got good enough threats. But in mono fire, I don't think there's any threats that are good enough at this point, apart from Tybas. I guess you could pair him with Tybas, actually.
So let's do it majority vote, but then I've got a rule I saw online of we all get 1 override for this. So if there's one you're like absolutely adamant about, you're like, even if you're outvoted, it's like, no, this one's just bonus.
And you're allowed to
have to look at the others now.
So I think you, Jono and I have said this is like Soiree member.
Is that what you said, John? Yeah.
I'm feeling like I think from my personal opinion about what I like to play as cards as well. So I'm thinking from my personal opinion, I'd probably go Soiree because I would like to try him.
Yeah.
But I personally just don't think that he will solve much at this moment in time.
Yeah, looks like I've been outvoted there then. I also like that he pairs with the new Bahamut.
That's
so you can attack your opponent's break zone as well.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
There are some good Bahamuts that are 5 cost as well, which like the one from
that RFG one's so good.
The one that most that RFG, but there's one that I think deals 8k or something like that. I mean, it's simply just playing a card to deal 8k and then. Do you know what I mean? There's many Bahamuts out there that you could just like bring.
Oh yeah. I like the 5 CP one that becomes 3 CP on your own turn and 10k removed from game. That one's nice.
Yeah.
Even the crystal one is nice to reduce.
The crystal one's still can be very good.
So if we go around now to Sam.
All right, I get to read Terra. 5 CP fire card Terra EX burst. Cat 6 forward Magitech Knight is the job. So, EX Burst. When Terra enters the field or is put from the field into the break zone, choose one summon in your break zone. Add it to your hand. During this turn, the cost required to cast your next summon is reduced by 2. It cannot become 0. All summons in your break zone cannot be removed from the game by your opponent's summons or abilities. And it's got 5,000 power. Looks so good.
Oh my god. I'll kick this off with what Andrew Campbell said from the YYT so we can gather our thoughts, because I asked Andrew was saying, Terra is incredible. The fact you get the summon reduction and resurrection on entry, exit, and on damage is brutally efficient. It's easily going to be a staple for mono fire and possibly start up a few deck variants, possibly like say a fire-based Chaos Arc, for example. It's kind of a thought, some opening thoughts for Terra.
Yeah. I completely agree with all those thoughts that Andrew's brought to us.
For example, and not, particularly, not really sort of deviating, but from the Kaya, so you're talking about the Bahamut that you reduced by 3 on your turn.
Yeah.
Now become 1 for 10k.
Yeah.
It's that's the thing that Terra has always done is reacted with summons getting them back from the break zone. And
this does feel like the new version of the old 4 CP classic, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that they cannot be removed from your break zone as well, because things that stop your break zone from being tampered with.
Yeah,
I've always felt were pretty strong.
Yeah. It's interesting because I feel like playing this early game could be kind of awkward because you don't get the return on the exit until she's killed, so your opponent can just not kill her and chill and build backups. But on the other hand, she is really efficient, and I love cards that enable summon decks. I love summon decks. So much interactivity.
Yeah, it's an EX burst. If it wasn't already cracked enough, it's does it on EX as well.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I going to try 5 CP Una in this card and fire water summons? Of course I am.
Yeah.
That's going to be weird.
Gonna do it. But I don't think there's much more. It's just simply a great card. I would definitely put this in mono fire decks. Reducing the 2-drop Ifrit down to 1, make it even more power efficient, or any other fire summon. Fire summons are so uniquely, it's not uniquely, generically good across the board. You just cannot go wrong with putting this in a fire deck.
And obviously, Chaos Arc is a thought that jumps to mind. That's quite disgusting with this,
because it will help it. It will help Chaos Arc in mono matchups or dual color matchups where it's not getting that much power cost reduction.
Yeah,
because Terra can reduce the cost outside of what your opponent.
Though you would hope to use that on her exit rather than her entry, because otherwise you're paying 5 and some on top, which can be then expensive. Whereas if it was on her exit that you used Chaos Arc, used Arc, then that cost reduction and cheapness would be a lot more effective, I think.
Yeah, you might feel a bit more comfortable with hand size.
Do you know what I mean? Because she is 5, she's a big girl. She's obviously going to make sure that your summon that you cast that turn hopefully is a small cost.
Yeah.
I'd hope.
Yeah, so she's relatively solid. So
seems really good.
So where are we thinking for her?
Who wants to throw the hat in first? I feel like who said it first last time? We should alternate that. All right, I'll go first then. I am actually going to say bonus burst for Terra. I think it's really good.
I wanted to.
I feel trepidation around putting them on bonus burst, but I get why. I can see why it's
Even if it's not going to be totally meta warping, this is so fun that I want to put it in bonus burst.
Yeah.
So I'm not automatically assuming this is like break the meta card.
Is that what we're doing?
Really
are we talk about our own feelings on how we build our own decks, or are we talking about how we feel about meta?
I'm kind of feeling what I would see if I went to 3 events, and what do I see in most of the lists?
I would say the same.
So you want to judge it on power. I think I'm slightly influenced by how I feel about the card, but yeah, it's power level maybe LBDO, but I want to put it in bonus burst.
I feel like I'm the same with you as like LB Leo is where I feel she is, but like bonus, but I'm going to like drag her there temporarily, but a bonus burst, I kind of, I'm looking at it now going,
Do you know what the ugly thing would be? It would be cracked, I think, but Warrior of Light can kill her for, on the
tap,
on the stack of her getting back of, like, she can enter, kill it, put it into the break zone, get 2 out, and then you've got 2 to play with that have been reduced by 2.
I think, this is one of those cards that's just like, there's too many possibilities. I'm sure it is absolutely busted.
Because Warrior of Light can just ping her, can't she?
Yeah.
Can't
I'm happy.
You still get the reduction even if she's dead.
So then, you get two reductions, because it happens twice.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy. I'm kind of happy to lean into a bonus burst as well, like communally.
I think so. Well, for a fact that she's going to be played a lot of in upcoming tournaments. You might see a lot of her, say, for example, at Materia Cup in London. But I feel also that she's gonna be a bit like a Cypher in my estimation, that everyone's going to jump on it and go, this is going to be great, but things are going to people are going to find a way of playing around it and stuff like that. And maybe I feel.
I would say she's not got as many inherent weaknesses as Cypher.
Yeah.
And also the context of Opus 23. How many good fire cards are there? Like, all the heroes and lots of the rares in the new set of fire look really good.
There's no interaction of misdragoning on the stack as well, though, is there? So, because as soon as she hits the field, then all your summons are untargetable, effectively. Is that untargetable? No, because if it was
can't be removed.
If your whole break zone is removed, then you'd have to just filter out the summons, right?
Yeah, so it's not that they're untargetable, it's just that you can target it, but it does nothing.
It would just get rid of characters.
Yes, correct.
Oh no, but does that even work? Because it won't work, because it's specifically...
misdragon your break zone and you have to filter out the summons.
Do you think that? Yeah.
Okay.
Because it would basically...
That sounds right to me.
Because misdragon, the way you would resolve that is you would essentially look through... Misdragon would check every card in the break zone. Can it be removed? Yes, take it out. B, stays in. So
Yeah. Fair enough.
So I'm kind of going with bonus bursty. It feels more bonus bursty the more I talk about it.
Brilliant.
Right in the bonus burst.
And we're continuing with a mono artwork on to our next one, which is Ice Cecil. I think the first time he's ever been in Ice, to be fair. 3 CP.
Might be in the first set, sorry.
Might have been in the first, maybe I missed that one. Cecil, 3 CP, 9k body. He's a cat 4, and his job Dark Knight, so not Paladin. When Cecil enters the field, discard 1 card, that's your card, and when he enters the field, you may receive 1 point of damage. When you do so, choose 2 characters, dull and freeze them, and on damage 5, he has a special of Dark Flame. Deal 10,000, I say 1,000, that'd be crap. Deal 10,000 damage to all forwards opponent controls, and Cecil deals you 1 point of damage.
And he's a 9k forward.
Yeah, he's a 9k body.
So I don't know if you said that.
I typically check that first. I'm like he's a 9k body, but at the same time,
Jono's a body man.
I check the bodies.
Straight body with those eyes.
Yeah, have you seen those pecs on that guy? He's puffed that chest up right nice. But
that shoulder to waist ratio is insane. Actually, now I think about it.
That's a mono for you. The one thing I like when you said about Cecil being a legend, Phil, I was like, sorry, what? Did you say he was a legend? I had to double check you a second, because I read this card as not being a legend at first. Mainly for the fact that I was like, oh, you have to discard. Oh, and when you do take damage, you can't have up to 2 characters. It's not up to 2. It is choose 2 characters. Bearing in mind, though, you're going to have your opponent's hopefully going to have 2 characters by the time you play this card. So 2 things will have to be targeted.
Yeah.
But it's you don't have the flexibility of choosing 1 or, you know, that sort of thing. It has to be 2.
Yeah. It seems very hyper aggressive, and like this like self-damage strategy in Ice. Like if you're playing super aggressive, most control players just turtle up and never swing at you. So getting to damage 5, which is the main reward of this card, seems hard.
Yeah. Cecil has always been a damage yourself sort of card, but then you are dealing with a 9k body on this as well. So
Maybe you go
that's
Earth
a bit
Ice.
of a payoff. Yeah, I suppose.
They've got some self-damage cards.
Yeah. That's a bit of a payoff on this, is that you use a 9k body for cheap, effectively.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know why, but I always read the discard 1 as your opponent does. Now I'm reading that, I'm far less excited because he basically costs 5. Like,
So you,
3 is very expensive for basically 2 dual 3s.
yeah, you try and negate that by playing him as your last card in hand, right?
Yeah.
And we discussed this really briefly before the podcast, and I was like, oh, and you have to be at damage 4 to take a damage, dual freeze 2, do his S, take another damage, be at damage 6. But I've realised that the first one is may receive a point of damage.
Yeah.
So you can play him on damage 5.
Yes.
And choose not to take the first damage, then use the S to take damage 6.
Yeah.
So not quite as thread the needle as I initially thought, but still like stipulation after stipulation on this card.
You are feeling
feels weakening.
Yeah. This never like when I saw it, I was just like, nah, and it's just never shouted out, oh, this is a legend. You know, when you, as I say, when you said it, it was like, what? That can't be true.
If this was Paladin Cecil, it would be.
Of
I think
course.
it would be better because you can then think, oh, I'm gonna in my Earth Ice deck, I'm gonna go Earth Cecil, then go into Paladin Cecil to dual freeze as a response.
Yeah. And you've taken a damage from the Earth Cecil.
Yeah.
Plus also with Earth Cecil, you're not getting rid of cards from hand.
Yeah.
That discard doesn't feel too taxing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I definitely like the 10k board wipe. But
Yeah.
Otherwise,
that's the thing. He's an ice card with a 10k board wipe on. That's the big plus. I suppose.
we were talking about that, is that people have been, certain people have been raving about Ice not having board wipes on a single card. All these other elements have it, but you're still stuck with a stipulation that it's going to hurt you.
Well, it's interesting to me because I initially said this is a really aggressive card, but now I think about it, maybe it goes in a control deck.
Yeah.
You may put this in Earth Ice control when you're on damage 5 or 4.
Yes.
You can be like, bang, 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 killed your whole board,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just like, what other Cecils do you play with this guy?
Are you looking to
ability?
race to 5? You know what I mean? Are you looking to control them out until you actually put yourself at 5? Is this a self-damaging deck?
I think so. Self-damage is quite hard to achieve in Ice.
Yeah.
So I think you're looking at like, this is my answer to aggression kind of card.
You run the
but
risk.
you have to run a load of Cecils and like,
or it's like a really
what
late
Cecils
game.
do you run?
Yeah.
I was thinking it would be.
There are Earth Cecils, sorry, but like, which I can't think of which one you run.
No.
This is really screaming cardboard. Weirdly.
Oh, I was actually totally thinking cardboard as well.
I wanted to say soiree member, but that felt generous. He's like
To be honest with you, my initial reaction of reading the card is brother, but then I'm not completely devoid of the fact that it can actually do something quite decent at some point.
Double dole freeze and like board wipe, and he is a 3-drop, so technically it can be played in Gigawall. Gigawall is becoming a new soiree metric for me. Like as an ex Gigawall player who I really want to play Gigawall, I can look at certain cards and go, okay, it's a Gigawall target, because you can imagine in like another 2 or 3 sets time there are going to be all these like unused 3-drops that will actually be quite cracked in a new Gigawall build of some description.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think cardboard is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Would you like to move on to?
Yeah. So Adele, it's her. Hello.
Yeah.
So she is a 3-drop wind forward. Job Heritor. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2. She has haste with the action ability for 0. Activate all the wind characters other than Adele you control, because why wouldn't you? Adele will not activate during your next active phase. You can only use this ability whilst Adele is attacking and only once per turn. And she's a 7k body.
First impressions, Jono?
Do you know what this reminds me of? Is that it's Larcasius. It's not Larcasius. What? No, that's what's the little monster, the 1-drop monster that we used to play.
Oh, the droid.
That when your opponent swung, that you activate all your forwards.
The wind cannon.
Oh no! Oh yeah. Oh my God! What's this? Layak?
Layak. It began with an L, right? Yeah, Layak. It reminds me of a Layak, but also it reminds me of. It doesn't do your forwards, but it's Atomos. You know, Atomos swing, you activate all your backups.
Yeah.
This gives you an extra. Say, for example, you play her, you attack with her. She's a 7k body as well. Activate all your backups and mono wind. That's kind of what you're looking for, effectively, so that you can carry on casting. And especially, for example, if you're running her next to Yuffie.
Yeah.
Yuffie attacks, reactivate.
Wind.
Do you know what I mean? It's weird. Like Yuffie can reactivate her. So yeah, I think there's so many cool options that you can do with this card.
Does it not feel mildly duplicate though? Like you say, it's only when attacking, which I think is very deliberate. I guess it activates like all characters, not backups, but
of course.
It feels very duplicate of.
It's a classic wind
Atomos.
effect in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to say, in a vacuum of just looking at this card on its own, I'm like, whoa, that's really exciting. But then I remember Atomos exists, and I'm sort of like,
The difference between Atomos is that you have to wait for damage 3.
True.
And also Atomos is a monster. That it's neither here nor there when it becomes a forward or not. You know what I mean? You don't use it to do all these attacking stuff. Like we were back in the day of Marsh Ritzing. You know, when Marsh brought in Ritz and Ritz attacks, it activates 3. So
I was getting
3.
those vibes from this.
Yeah, so it feels in the same sort of vein. Luckily and fortunately, Marsh Ritz are in FFTA, not FTA too.
Yeah. Well, so, I don't think that would be broken anyway.
No, but at the same time, it's one of those.
Yeah. I think so. I think the elephant in the room needs addressing regarding this card. Or I'll say the line that everyone says when they're reviewing new wind cards. This is all well and good in another element, but Storm exists.
Yeah.
So why would I play this?
Yeah.
You know,
the fact that
as boring as that line is, you have to say it every time.
Do you know what makes it more interesting in Storm for me? I suppose I think it's because it's got haste.
Yes. So this is I was thinking about this. You play this if you think your opponent hasn't got any reactivity, no removal, no Kukulanes, no Amats. But Storm can still, win by not doing that and not taking a risk. And the thing is, you already need characters down to make her worthwhile.
Yeah.
And if you're building backups, why would I play this when I can Storm?
Do you know what's interesting? Not that I've thought of this before, because I haven't seen this card actually properly until today. Is that that new Golbez, the fire Golbez? If you play this in fire wind, plus you can play Yzerdan. But the reactivations for
this
hurting
is only
things.
Wind characters though.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Sorry, I read cards.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So if this was like a fire card, I'd be psyched. I'd be super psyched for it.
Yeah.
Like fire needs some like threats that are not just like I kill you,
Yeah.
It's typical wind. This isn't.
But this unless a wind aggro deck appears out of nowhere.
Yeah, because like wind doesn't, for example, wind characters versus backups on Atomos. Wind doesn't particularly have any reason to restand its forwards. So you like swing and make Adele your last swing, stand up all your other forwards, for example. Wind doesn't particularly have a reason for that because it's got so many other defense mechanisms. Like I might play this in Wind Ice and do it as like a 1 CP off of Sid Hayes, but what does it do?
Yeah.
It's good, but it doesn't do
like you can reactivate all your chocobos if you're playing them, which it shouldn't be.
Whenever I've played Icewind, though, I've never felt like attacking. You don't attack in.
You're risking EX bursts. That's another negative of this card.
Yeah.
Why would you risk an EX burst of your opponent when you're on wind? Well,
yeah, exactly.
I kind of was like initially my brain said Soiree member.
I'm feeling the same.
But
not a chance for me. This is
I
either
am kind of
cardboard
going
or
cardboard.
Brother
yeah.
Really, brother?
I was definitely like she's definitely a piece of cardboard.
I'm not saying it reads bad. I'm saying it's a wind card that tries to attack your opponent.
Yeah, like, looking at it, like
if we're looking at the meta, yeah.
Like think across 3 events, loads of wind decks. How many of them are playing?
This is a nice full art.
But I'm ready to eat. I hope I'm eating my words on this. Like, I would love to be proven wrong. We saying cardboard then?
I think so.
I think cardboard's fair. Maybe we might reassess them as the journey goes on.
I'd love it if I'm wrong.
Yeah. On to you,
Right,
Sam.
that's me. Yeah, cool. Nice. I get a good one here. I think.
Predictions beforehand.
3CP wind forward, Hope. It's forward, Ravager Lassie is the job, Cat 13. When Hope enters the field, you may pay X. When you do so, search for one category 13 character of cost X and play it onto the field. Then he's got a tap ability. Remove Hope from the game. At the beginning of your next main phase 1, play Hope onto the field. You can only do this ability during your turn. He's a 7k power forward.
I'm so excited by this card. I don't understand it, but I love Cat 13 and I love Wind Knoll, the box topper. So this card is just like, my brain's going, somebody solve it for me, somebody solve it for me.
So the reason this doesn't get the same negativity as the previous one for me is this goes in 2 color decks.
Yes, you know straight up that this is not going to be a mono wind deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, you're right. I think paying 5 essentially for Hope and Knoll is a pretty cool play. Because the Knoll's only 2 CP, isn't he?
We're thinking of which Knoll are we thinking of? Wind Knoll.
The Wind Knoll.
Yeah.
Was that not what you were thinking of?
Well, no, it's just because I played aggro.
You're thinking of that.
I just always think of that. Or like you could like, for example, if Hope is your second forward, you then cast Lightning.
Yeah. So by the way, Lightning, you should know this.
Yep.
She eventually grants your forwards haste, right? If you get enough swings in.
She's 1k. She's draw direct damage.
So she doesn't. Oh, okay.
Does she have haste herself?
She does. She has an 8 haste.
She has haste herself, but no, yeah.
She has an 8 haste.
It'd be tempting to play this with the lightning backup that grants haste.
Yes, that's when you said that. I was like, it's the backup, but yeah, like being able to like fart out. There's so many good targets that are relatively cheap.
And the thing about him is that you don't have to you don't have to stretch your wind characters too far. You know what I mean? You don't have to do like, all right, now I need to try and shove more wind into my fire lightning build of FF13. You don't have to do that because he comes in and does something and then he can send himself out and do it again. So you're not having to pay CP once he's on board.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I definitely think, just from what you've just said, Sam, I definitely think that this is like wind lightning. Definitely, like for elements, because can you imagine this as well with like the new Sarah?
Yeah.
Like do some power reduction or some damage, and then play Hope, play new Sarah, reduce the board by 5k.
And the good thing as well is, how when you're picking a Cat 13 deck, you're always like, oh, should I be on wind? Should I be on lightning? Should I be on fire? Should I be on ice? You can now splash the elements you're not maining into.
Yes.
Because you're just paying X to get them on.
But that's
so
why
you can colour fix them.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying is that like with the fact that he also cracks himself and he disappears, it means that he also you once you've spent the wind CP, you don't need to spend any more further wind CP effectively.
Yeah, and you can haste him, sit there on the field. If your opponent tries to target him, that's a huge misplay because you just crack him on the stack and then get more free stuff later.
Yeah.
If they don't do anything to him, then go and do it at the end of their turn.
Yeah.
How would this work with Fang? Fire Fang. So you have Fang on the field already. Don't use her action ability. You play Hope. Hope triggers. Can you put Fang on the stack to reduce the cost of the forward that Hope would play from deck?
I reckon there's probably something in Fang's wording about playing from hand, or
maybe.
I don't know.
I think it's just the next category 13 forward you play this turn. I was just thinking that's an insane thing of being able to cost reduce anything you play from deck. But that's a really niche thing. So
I think the way this text is, I think you can only pay the actual cost of the card. Because I don't think you get reductions.
Because the way because the way that it happens is that the paying X, that's one auto. Then when you do so, then the search happens.
Oh, and cost paying cost X is like referring to what's on the card, not the reduced value.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
Okay, but I still think this is a really fun, exciting card.
It's really fun.
You could reduce the cost of Hope.
And yes, I was thinking definitely like with that wind lightning, that lightning backup. The purple lightning backup. It's really exciting to be able to like do his dull ability immediately.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd ask. So this isn't my one. So where do we think this one is, Sam? Initially,
I feel like he's going to be used a lot.
I almost want to go high tier with it, but it's really hard to assess this
Can we
card.
put him with the other Cat 13?
No way. I think he's at least LB Leo.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
so if I put him in LB Leo and let's see how that looks.
I feel like we're changing how we feel throughout this. So I'm also feeling like we can rearrange at the end maybe if we feel like we've been.
You would start changing your mind on the past one.
I was thinking of Caius being up on LB Leo actually, but that's kind of where my mind has.
I think that's what I said, didn't it?
Yeah.
You should LB Leo, and we voted you down.
I think how we've ranked them now.
I love it.
I think how we've ranked them. Well, we can discuss this at the end. I think and is this set? Yeah, this is set. But I think because how we're ranking stuff now, I can see where things can be played and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll move on. But my thoughts are wearing. So we have another forward of a legend. 7CP Vincent. He's an Earth card. He's Job Gunslinger and Cat 7. His text is Warp 6 for 1 Earth. When a Cat 7 forward enters the field, remove 1 warp counter from Vincent. This effect will trigger only if Vincent is removed from the game and if a warp counter is placed on Vincent. When Vincent enters the field, choose up to 1 forward and 1 backup. Break the former. If Vincent enters due to warp, break the latter. And he's got a 9k body.
Reading that just gives me a bit of a boner, to be honest. And I was thinking he's like Job Humana.
Do you know what the art does that for me too?
This is like Cat 7 can fart out forward relatively quickly.
I think so.
Yeah.
And because you've also got you've got Cloud LB, you've got Zach LB, got, you know what I mean? You've got other cards that are sat off in your LB deck ready to be deployed.
You're like, oh no, I've run out of 1 CP Avalanche operatives to play. Let me start playing Zach.
Exactly.
Well, what I would say is this guy loves Vayne as well. Vayne. Imagine you tech Vayne into a FF7 deck and then you go. Because is Vayne draw once a turn, or is he?
It's draw once per turn. Yeah, you get the effect once per turn. But if you, for example, it means that you will categorically draw each turn.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're guaranteed to draw each turn.
Yeah.
But his main thing is knowing how to accelerate him quickly enough. He's a bit like he's reminding me of Cat 6 Shadow a little bit of but this Vincent's more obvious.
Yeah.
But it's a case of. He only works with Cat 7. Will there be enough good cards for Cat 7 in the meta for him to be...
Yeah, this is the question, right? Because Avalanche hasn't been meta for a while.
No.
Cloud Pod is doing some little bits last set.
But that was more sort of like almost meme ideas, but not,
So does this guy go in a Cat 7 deck, or do you have some kind of like warp deck where you have multiple cards that benefit from warp counters being removed. And then you have the odd bit of Cat 7 to speed him up. I'm not sure. A really, really hard card to evaluate, I've got to say.
Because you also have to play him, I've realised as well, you also have to play him ahead of your plays. So you obviously warp, but you have to warp him and then hope that you get to play all the forwards in your deck. It's kind of relying on the lines that you've got, whereas... Again, my comparative with Shadow is that I probably already have forwards out on the board. My prerequisite is already met with Shadow because I get my 2 forwards out with Shadow, warp him, and I know that his counters are coming off.
Yeah,
much.
But you know ahead of time that with this Vincent that you don't warp him until you're ready to start playing forwards, right?
Yeah, but I guess are you realistically as well? The other thing to think of, are you playing him over 2 turns? Are you hoping you're going to get him in? What's the timing of him? Do you warp him on, let's say, turn 1?
Yeah, you have to really.
And is he coming out? Because he'll come into play when the last warp counter is removed, not at the start of turn.
Yeah.
So
you wouldn't think a vampire would be doing you a maths test, would you? Here we are.
If there are any back attack Cat 7 cards?
Yes, there is.
Because if there are back attack Cat 7s, that makes him in warp with warp 1 counter, you back attack.
Sonon is cat 7.
Yeah, so you cast.
That'd be a nice combo, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so you back attack with Sonon.
Break a forward and a backup in your opponent's turn.
Perfect, yeah.
Back attack Sonon with Vincent in warp with 1 counter left is kind of gross.
Oh yeah. Your opponent, by the time Vincent's on 1 counter, your opponent's like.
I agree.
But the high warp count, you got to remember, like if you play him turn 1, then he's on that clock already for himself, because obviously that count is going to be removed at the beginning of each turn. So you can, like you said, you can play it perfectly in a scenario where, you know, you're building up your backups. You've played that, say, turn 2 or something like that, still building up backups. It's ticking down. Now you can play your forwards.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to play 5 forward. You warp him, and then you'd have to play 5 forwards for him to come in the next cast,
which is crazy.
So he's definitely a 2-turn card. I think he's kind of giving, as much as I love how he reads, he's giving soiree energy.
That's it. The power level's super hard to assess on this card, and it's really fun. But I don't know how it will play out.
I see a lot of people trying to make it work, but you're forcing you're forcing an old archetype into a current meta. You know what I mean? If you're trying to force Avalanche effectively, because that's where the most Cat 7 characters have been played recently. That's where I would see. I think if you wanted to play what you used to play, which was Avalanche, and you were hardcore fan. Jesus Christ, words. That bit is going to sound hilarious when I listen back to it. Then you're going to want to play. You want to sort of live the old days and try and make this work again. That's how I feel that card was when I first read it. I was like, this is...
Yeah. Sorry, I mean to cut you off.
No, that's right.
Did either of you spot any new FF7 cards in the rest of the pool?
Apart from the standard units.
There's
cheap guys, right?
Yeah.
Very cheap guys, yeah. But I think he's still screaming soiree, remember, to me, because he's better than cardboard. Like, if you look at, like, say, the Cecil, where the card text is but actually Vincent's got great card text. It's just an archetype problem.
Yeah, I think he's soiree member. Like Kais is a bit better if we'd put him in the right one at the beginning.
Wow. See,
how to sound smug.
let's do that at the end. I think. Let's do that at the end, because I feel like if we start moving around now. Okay. But yeah, I know you. Shut the fuck up.
Wow.
It's because you know I'm right.
Yes, okay.
Let's move on to our next legend, Sarah. She's a 4-drop lightning forward, and she is very nice, and I like her. She's good.
Got the clocks.
Yep, she has. So she's a forward. She's a job saboteur. She's Cat 13. I've called her like the antithesis to Fang, is what I've been saying at the moment. So she is, that says the forward's opponent, there's a word missing there. The forward's opponent controls lose 2,000 power. Just does, it's not an auto. If you control 3 or more category 13 forwards, the forward's opponent controls lose 5,000 power instead. So then she's got her special ability Dispel, just by discarding same. During this turn, the power of forwards opponent controls cannot be increased by summons or abilities.
Power 8,000.
Power 8,000. I just love the first 3 lines of text. The first 3 lines of text give off big, like, Fang benefit vibes.
But I'm not sure we're going to see Dispel happen very often.
Dispel is going to be very much like Imperil was better, like on Vanille, but it's kind of Imperil level, isn't it?
I'd say it's a lot worse.
It's worse.
I think you're barely going to see that ability ever happen. I'll be surprised if I see it happen once.
Can you do that on the stack when something boosts?
Yeah. Because you're doing it before the resolution.
Yeah, and I guess, like, how many other Sarahs are you going to run to make it viable?
Honestly, there aren't that many good Sarah. Well, there have been, but they've been very much Moogle memes. You know, they've not really fulfilled a.
So I've got to do a first impression, I guess.
Yeah, go on then.
This is really hard to assess. This gets my brain ticking. Pardon the pun. But like. It's really hard because it's a black belt that reduces the power of all your opponent's stuff, and most importantly, it doesn't create a stack when you play it.
Yeah.
So you're like, your power's dropped and there's nothing you can do, which is a bit wild.
Yeah.
So in that regard, it's very powerful.
But But there is the thing of like, if you're saying that Dispel is not going to be played, what's to say that your opponent has a field buff, that counteracts this,
it's not very common in the meta, right?
No,
a field buff.
Maybe not a field buff, but like buffing your own forwards to just be, you are putting yourself in a position to say, well, I've reduced your power for so much, but at the moment, you could do anything. You're giving them free rein to figure out what to do in that situation. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's for me.
Yeah, I think like not many like battle tricks and like power pumps, power drops barely played in this meta.
What about if this card is it wouldn't work actually, would it? So for example, cards like Charlotte in Knights, thinking of meta, Charlotte boosts herself at a damage trigger, but it's not like an ability. Would Sarah wouldn't stop that? Would Sarah stop that? So if a card just says at damage 3 gain 2k power,
so you'd apply the -5. The -5 or the -2 from Sarah, or 5, depending how many Cat 13 forwards you had.
Yeah,
would be already applied, and then the boost would bring it up by 2 or whatever it is. But basically, I'm interested that it doesn't create a stack. But there's no way you can't play another card that doesn't create a stack and like kill all their forwards. Obviously, 5,000 power is kind of significant. Like a lot of things just die at that point. But I don't know. I mean, my brain immediately goes salamander. Play this salamander.
Do you know what my brain jumps to, which is really niche because I love the card myself, but it's Opus 12 Diablos, which when power is reduced or you break,
you can break stuff. Yeah.
Break stuff. So 2 CP just break anything.
Wind lightning with the hope.
Yeah.
If you think of this as well with
run the Diablos.
If you think about this with the light light lightning as well, the 2-drop, that it only takes the 2k reduction. Let's say it's probably going to be 5 in most Cat 13 decks. It takes one swing off of lightning to make that a 6k reduction, effectively. Not reduction, but like 6k gap, because lightning takes one swing of any Cat 13 forward to do a 1k boost. So it makes normally with Cat 13 decks with the lightning in, you have to do this juggle of which forward swings first so that it doesn't die.
Yeah,
boosts the other ones that are low. This completely alleviates that issue.
Yeah,
it's like it's a massive boon.
Oh man, yeah, stuff like this. If you're like hyper aggro and your opponent's like clinging on by blocks, I always think. But another thing that I think is like in this meta with Quistis and stuff, you should never rely on blocking anyway. If you're the control deck, you hold something at all times if possible. So it's a really hard card to assess.
I'm going to jump in just because I had a quick brain thought. You say Dispel isn't used often, and I probably won't because you're probably only going to run, say, 3 of this card. And if you did, it was only for the S effect. But once, say, for example, your opponent has generally got a buff on, say, like some cards just put a buff on themselves if, say, damage 3 happens or something like that. Dispel means that is negated effectively.
Yeah.
That's sort of a combat trick in some ways.
Yeah. And if you've got it in hand and it wins you the game, you do it, but it's not going to happen much. IMO.
I think you're probably looking at, I don't know. I'm feeling like it's
hard.
If we're thinking of moving Caius up, I think she's a very strong soiree. Like, I feel bad saying soiree, but it's possible soiree.
My problem with her is you pay 4, you get this strong effect, then your opponent's like, great, my removal costs less than 4.
Yeah.
Like
if we
she wins you the
Caius
game or probably puts you a little bit behind is my instinct.
I guess it depends on the match as well, because like that 5k reduction will, for example, I'm just using Knights, will just kill Charlotte immediately. It is actually really nuts against Knights, but
you moved Caius already?
I moved Caius already just to because then you can see. We put Hope in LB Leo.
Yeah.
But I think Sora remembers where I want to put her, but I actually find it really hard to assess. Like, she could actually be really good, she could be really unplayed. I can't quite tell.
Do you think she's better than Vincent? if we're looking on the same level, I mean, that's very hard.
Impossible question. Isn't it?
I think
do you think uranium can be compared to this apple?
I think it's similar. Like, it's a similar thing, isn't it? Of like, both Vincent and Sarah are like cracked in their archetype if certain thing happens. So I think they both kind of fit that soiree member thing, which is Merald is amazing if I manage to get all my soirees out. So it kind of, whereas cardboard with that, and I am kind of leaning more with that wind card to go in Brother but we'll see. So I think that's
the sad thing is that Adele she'd be great in fire. That text in fire would be sick.
Let's.
I wouldn't want that.
You think it'd be too good?
Should we mosey on to the next one?
The young boy.
All right. Oh my gosh, I have to get the one. My dyslexia is not going to help here. 2CP water forward, young Exenmill. He's a Griffin Knight, category 11. Young Exenmill is also card name Exenmill in all situations. Pay 1 crystal. Young Exenmill gains. Young Exenmill cannot be chosen by your opponent's abilities. I'm trying, okay? And Young Exenmill's power becomes 9,000. This effect does not end at the end of the turn. Pay 1 water and 1 crystal, tap. Search for 1 water forward of cost 3 and play it onto the field. You can only use this ability once per turn. He's got 5,000 power. I did it. I've made it. I'm out of there.
Young Exenmill.
That was like me with the last one, wasn't it? With like cards opponent controls. I sort of was reading the first bit and was like, yes, he becomes 9k. Yes, you can basically do ultimate shield on the stack with a crystal for him. So that's kind of okay. I'm kind of guessing that the play a cost 3 from deck is great, but I'm just sort of questioning it because it needs haste. There's a lot of like.
Well, the fact you say he needs haste, but the fact he protects himself means the chances of him staying around a turn are huge, right?
Is the other card that he's paired with, because he's paired with another card that isn't a legend? I can't remember.
Yeah, I had a little look. It's a 3-drop that generates 2 crystals, and
I'm trying to find the list.
When it enters the field or attacks, all water forwards gain 2,000 power.
Right.
So these are like little tempo-y aggressive boys,
That's what I was going to say. The main thing was, if it doesn't give Exenmill haste, I'm like, it's that not having access to some form of haste is what makes it like a soiree. I'm not like rating it already.
For ratings already.
Well, like, it's just, I'm trying to get that feeling as I talk about it. But any card that says play something from deck just can't be bad. Well, it shouldn't be.
It's got its own protection. Play stuff from deck. Sorry.
You guys going to say it plays Lena. So if you're playing mono water, it plays Lena.
Yeah.
And you can effectively.
You can really vomit forwards at that point.
Yeah, you can get Leviathan pretty quickly. It goes with the. Where is it? I'm just looking for it now. Bled.
So this guy, I think he's really good. Just never play him against fire.
Yeah,
because he's just dead. He's just going to eat an Ifrit or a Brynhilde.
And it's interesting that they say, though, this card is, say, young Exenmill is also card named Exenmill. It shows that there's going to be an Exenmill.
Yeah, they're going to print the adult version where he's way stronger, hopefully.
Well, he's a legend in this, so probably just OP'd or overpowered version of this one. But the other one that is a 3CP, which I think is supposed to be like twinsies or something, but he's a Griffin Knight as well, is the young Rahal, which is basically enters, gains 2 crystals, enters or attacks, buffs water forwards by 2k.
Yeah.
So there's like already inbuilt synergies within that sort of like Griffin Knight sort of thing. But
I like this card. I like cards that you can play for cheap and then they're gonna get you value back. It's a little swarmy vibe, and I got a soft spot for crystals. They've never been meta.
Same.
So I'm going to be like, maybe I'll be a bit biased with how I review this card. I think a lot of people will see crystals and go, shit,
Yeah.
But
it's pretty simple within water to get crystals. Crystals seems to be a very water thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So you can get your Glacial Wizette out, and hopefully that works as well. But it seems all right. Well, to be fair, you could play Glacial Wizette.
It's cost 3,
yeah. So there's some decent hits for a 3-cost.
I think in a crystal deck, you're always maintaining your crystals with a guy like this.
Yeah, of course.
So is it? I mean, I like that it's unlike most of the other cards we've done, which are like category specific. This is definitely like just tied to water.
I feel like it's a mono
crystals. Yeah.
I feel like it's a mono water card, but it will change what mono water wants to do. I think.
I always want to go in 2 elements when I play crystals. I don't know why.
There are good other cards.
Being able to utilize those backups that are like draw crystal.
Having
high probability.
Yeah, having 6 of them instead of 3 feels good.
Yes,
that's a reason to do 2 cards.
So how are you two feeling about him?
I want to put him in soiree member, but like I said, I'm a softie for crystals. So.
I mean, the fact I mean, again, we do it preliminarily to see how it looks. Like,
I'd say same. I'm not necessarily over. I don't think I'm going to see him in a room at closest materia cup. You know what I mean? I don't feel like he may be in a few decks and be trialed, and in mono water possibly, or but I don't think I'm going to see high competitive decks with him in just yet. I could be completely wrong, but
I like the brave statement because it's quite. I'd say it's more likely true than not. But.
Yeah, I just don't see it as. Yeah, of course you're paying 1 and crystal, and you've just got to manage those crystals to make sure he actually gets his effect off. Also, he can be affected by summons.
Yeah. But you can even play Legend Lena off him. Oh, you said that's what you said, isn't it?
Yeah, Legend Lena.
I thought you meant Crystal Lena. So that's why I thought you'll be vomiting forwards out.
I know, but you will.
Those would both be good plays. Either Lena.
That the Legend Lena that gets you that you.
And then you go get your levy.
Break, remove 12 water forwards. Yeah, that thing basically. Is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Alright then. So we're on to Formaldehyde. No, Formalda. 4 CP Formalda. She is a Job Sword Saint. She's got an 8,000 power body, and she's category FFTA2. At the beginning of the attack phase, during each of your turns, if there are 4 or more different elements among characters you control, select one of the 2 following actions. Choose 1 forward. Until the end of the turn, it loses 2,000 power for each different element among characters you control. Play 1 forward at cost 4 or less from your hand onto the field. That's that is a 4-color wall if I've ever seen one.
That is Sean Tron fodder if I've ever seen one. Yeah. I hate it because it's good.
I don't think Sean Tron's its main deck though. I don't know. No. I don't even know if it makes that deck.
But I also feel like you're sat with.
That's win more in Sean Tron.
That is very win more to be fair.
I suppose, yeah.
And he doesn't really play a lot of water in that deck, so he's not. He's a bit of out for.
No, but you cheat it out with Kieran.
True, but I'm not saying
would you want it if you don't get its effect?
It's a late game, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't put it in that deck.
I genuinely feel it's a 4-color wall deck.
Yeah, obviously goes straight in 4-color wall.
They've just decided, you know what, this is an archetype that's doing well. We'll add 1 more card to it.
It's a shame this lovely art has gone on like such an uncreative card in regards to the meta. You know what I mean?
Wow.
You know what 4-color wall needs?
1 more card.
More winning after it's got its 4 elements down.
Oh, and we'll give 4-color wall like fucking legacy full arts with Refia. Like, why not? Just go for it.
I think because obviously you've one of the 2 action abilities is definitely situational and what you want, but the fact that it's a reoccurring effect every attack phase is you would think, oh, that's fine. On entry, it's all good. I can do that once, perfect. But then you're sat with something that repeats and repeats and repeats. Yes, it's an auto every single turn, and yes, it's within AMAT range, but then you are getting value, hopefully, out of it if you've played it and someone doesn't have an AMAT in hand.
Yeah. And obviously this is going to make me feel a bit weird having played Warriors this set, because my game plan was already kill them. They can't have 4 backups for very long, otherwise I lose the game. Mm-hmm. And this just says that even more strongly.
Yeah.
This just hammers that even harder.
Jeez, like you put down what's her name, Shantotto, which fits in this deck as well, and then it's like gazillion power reduction. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, that is funny.
But just naturally for it to trigger on its own, it's 8k minimum power reduction.
Yeah,
it can't trigger without 4 or more elements.
Yeah, you're always getting 8k at least. Like, always if you play 8K. This card right.
Yeah, yeah. Because what you would do, technically, in my mind, is that you'd you play this after wall. I know it sounds silly, but you play that after wall.
Yeah,
because
no, that's exactly what you would do, yeah.
Because wall reactivates your backups, and then you play this from the backups that wall's just reactivated. But playing wall from hand in a wall deck is stupid. You know, like playing, as in off the back of an ability, I mean. Not necessarily. So that would be just stupid. You want that wall for its max effect.
Yeah.
You know, that's a crazy statement considering Opus 19 meta with fucking Wincestle playing wall from hand was like the biggest dick play of the format.
Yeah. Well, you do the thing with that is that you did it on your opponent's turn.
Yeah.
That is the thing that made that.
And you did it when you're getting aggroed, right?
Exactly.
If they let you play for your backups to get it naturally, you did, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
power level, disgusting. Like
she's giving.
Although I did look at her and go, brother, emotionally.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm going to say like bonus burst.
Burst.
Okay, I won't outvote you. We'll put her in bonus. I was going to say LB Leo, but I guess we'll see because it's a win more card. Because it's win more, sometimes they have the tendency not to be.
Yeah,
as
I
round.
agree. I agree. It is win more, but a lot of the time, having played tempo this set, my 4-color wall opponents are almost always getting to their 4 backups, but I just kill them after their first wall gets played.
It's pressure.
Yeah.
It's constant pressure.
Yeah, it's pressure. You have to out it or it makes 4 CP a turn.
And it hurts you every single time. Oh, well, yeah, it will either remove your forwards if you've got light, small forwards.
Yeah.
Or it will bring out more forwards. It's just not nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you think of this, guys? Why did you think of this?
People are like, Kageyama, please ban 4-ball. He was like, sure, bro.
Starts writing notes for Framelda.
Literally, she does need Framelda. Just like put her to sleep quickly. Wow. Put her to sleep quickly.
Speaking of...
Slice&Dice does not endorse the message of Jono.
I'm
Jesus.
Kidding. I'm just pulling your leg.
Straight to the RAP.
Let's move on to our next one. She's actually, the box topper of this set?
Yes, she is.
And she is a woman, to confirm for people that didn't know in our locals. And she's my favourite Pokemon, Venonat. But no, we've got Venar. She is a 4-drop light forward, category 14, job ancient 14.
That's interesting.
And then it says, when Venar enters the field, gain 2 crystals. When Venar is put from the field into the break zone, you may pay a crystal. When you do so, choose a forward, remove it from the game. Thanks. And then 2 crystals and dull, search for 1 card and add it to your hand. And she's a 9k body.
Yeah. So I said that's interesting when it came to the job ancient, because obviously they've got like Aerith ancients.
Yes.
They had to specifically identify that this was from 14. Yeah.
I think very good card. I think I can't quite fully assess it right off the bat, but it doesn't read badly for me.
It's better than Engelbert. You know, it's a 4 CP light card and it gets you 2 crystals, but it does more.
But it's also it's that break zone effect, because that like arc deck that Lyndon made at the tail end of last Opus, and it had that arc in that when it leaves the break zone, or like it can do Anyway, I remember there being a really crazy arc deck.
Yeah, it's like the one where it shrinks loads of things and draws cards off things that die.
Yes, yeah, and it benefits off the things dying, and Venar is like, RFG something if she happens to die. Like, cool, you just keep swinging with her until she has to die.
The irony is that she would work perfectly next to your lovely Lady Lilith, Lightning Lady Lilith. You can...
Yeah. I like a crystal card. I'm really a bit torn on this one, because it reads like, get 2 crystals, 4 CP, 9k... you get a bit of a reward when she dies, and if they don't kill her, you can use those crystals to get any card you want. So you can set yourself up, but it's like if they have early removal, they'll just kill her before she gets you anything, right? And then they won't even have a forward for you to kill. Is like the flaw for this card. And then you've used 3 cards to get 2 crystals, and they're like, there's not that much early game removals, so I kind of like it, but it's such a weird vibe. Like, it's really hard to assess.
Well, it gives me like Legend Cyan vibes in terms of Legend Cyan. You don't always have to like pay all of your CP to make the crystals, because you'll have had them by other means.
Yeah.
So it should potentially work as long as you've got one crystal, she still works on exit.
Yeah, I don't think she's got the flexibility of that Cyan for me, but
No, definitely not.
you play a mid game and like you know, say you, I don't know, just having the fact she's a light card. If this was a element, I'd like it a lot more because it's got no negative impact on your like hand and stuff.
Yeah.
But the fact it's a light card is like a negative for me.
Yeah, I think the fact that she's got a 9k body makes it more out of reach of certain things that could hopefully, would get rid of her as well.
And I'm never playing this against ice, and it's a light card clogging my hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you basically want to try and use her second ability on your own terms effectively. In some form or fashion. She's not dying. She's not dying because, like, say against ice, she's going to be dull and frozen for the entire game. She's not blocking to get rid of her. For her to be sacked and then pay the crystal. Yeah. You want to try and get rid of her.
She gets you 2 crystals against ice, which is not worth 4 CP.
No, not at all. I'm not too sure. I'm personally not going to see it in any of my decks, and I don't think essentially she's going to get much playtime.
She is giving cardboard vibes. I, as much as I really like her, she's kind of giving... I wanted to say Soiree Member, then when you look at the other Soiree Member cards, I think she's cardboard.
Yeah. And just, I mean, we talked about this before with Luso, I know it's not the same, this is going off topic in terms of the actual card text, but the actual artwork and Luso are the first full arts that I've seen in recent times where it's not custom art. Because that's not custom art, is it? That is game art, right?
We haven't seen her. Well, it's her in-game model, or it's her CG.
Yeah.
It's her CG model.
It's a render, right?
But I haven't seen it in this composition with that planet behind her, without being too descriptive.
Yeah. Because typically the spoilers. Typically the overarching theme for all full arts since full arts started have been custom art for the game for FFTCG.
Yeah.
There's only been the exception with legacy cards, obviously, but this is just interesting. I spotted it. I was like, huh? Why is I know it's a box topper. I get it. It's a good legend, but why not make? But I suppose coming to the next card that were on the list, if this was the box topper or any others, it just seemed a bit too OP.
Yeah, as someone who loves crystals, and then I'm feeling lukewarm on it. It does give cardboard.
Yeah.
I feel like now we've put these two into cardboard, that wind one is definitely Brother
You're suddenly really off. But the text is great, right?
I think the text is good in general. Like you can't sniff at, say, playing a different style of wind, I suppose. But
we're not going to see aggro mono wind appear, are we?
No.
Okay.
She might be Brother. We'll assess in a minute.
Okay, so let's move on to next.
Yeah, we've got our dark card of the set. 4 CP Chaos. He's a forward. His category is Final Fantasy 1. His job is Chaos. When Chaos enters the field, you may remove 5 job Chaos in your break zone and/or monsters in your break zone from the game. When you do so, your opponent selects 1 forward they control. Put it into the break zone. Your opponent discards 2 cards. S ability, Flare. Put the top 10 cards of your deck into the break zone. Chaos deals your opponent 1 point of damage. And he's a 9k power forward.
Whew. Sure. So, someone who said this was Kinney. He is Chaos Arc into 1 card.
Yeah.
Effectively, he is Kark.
He's got a lot of Kark. He's got big Kark energy. So I'm trying to remember from memory, because where memory comes from, the Final Fantasy 9 for bosses at the end of the game, like Marilith, the water thing, are they job chaos?
They are, yes.
Yeah. Are there any other job chaoses apart? I know there are. Like,
there's like Tiamat.
Yes, because that's one of those
Tiamat,
as well.
There's Kraken, and all those ones that are job chaos within, well, not job chaos, but those specific fiends throughout different...
Right, the different titles.
Different titles have been put with the job chaos.
Sadly, they're all terrible cards.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You can't see them played.
Yeah, so it was only because of that 5 job chaos I was a little bit bleh about this. The rest of it's great.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just the name clash.
It's
of
just the name.
drop chaos.
So no,
that
you
gets
don't look at the job chaos. You're looking at monsters. You want to put this in a monster deck.
Yeah.
So if you put this in a monster deck, then you know for a fact you're going to get those things because those things.
Now monster
because
decks
it's either 5
Arc as well.
I've only just realised that, so it's either 5 job chaos or take the chaos out completely, and it's just monsters.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So put this in a monster deck.
So you can mix and match, but unless they print a good job chaos, I don't think you're doing it. Well, to be fair,
Brother,
if you've got excess copies of this guy already in your break zone, you can contribute them to the count as well as your monsters.
Of course,
yeah, because it's either or.
It's and or, yeah. But
the thing about this is, if you can set your hand up to have 2 chaos, play him on the stack flare.
Yeah.
Then you've got more monsters in your break zone because you've milled.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you can do this turn 1. If you draw 2 chaos, you can go.
But this is going to have to be some form of, because of flare, I would say this has got to be some form of ice, lightning, cat 8 monster thing. Because it benefits that. Because of put the top 10 cards of your deck into the break zone.
Oh yeah, you could do that, yes. But I think I don't think Fujin and Raijin are a big enough reward to force you into those elements.
Cypher.
Can I just check something? And this is like a ruling almost. Does the double discard? The 2-card discard.
Yeah.
Only come into effect when the opponent selects a forward to put into the break zone.
Select is cost. Yeah. When you do so, your opponent selects 1 forward. They control. Full stop. Put it into the break zone. Full stop.
Your opponent discards 2 cards. Is it the putting into the break zone then? If that gets, say, cancelled, for example, not saying.
If there's no forward.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
think they still discard.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure. I'm like 70% sure.
I'm only going with because of the.
Because usually they go if they do. Clarify these things.
But then it's always looking at where the auto starts as well. So it has the ETB of basically do cost, so when he enters the field, remove stuff from break zone.
Yeah, then there's a new auto when you do so.
So that's the A then B. So if you don't cancel the ETB, then the second one fires, which is the when you do so. And if you cancel, I see what you mean.
Yeah, I think you discard 2 regardless of if the forward has been put into the break zone. Personally,
yeah, if the forward's put into the break zone, yes. If you cancelled that when you do so, I'd say no. Is that what we're asking?
Well, Jono's also asking if there's no forward.
Say if your opponent has no forward. Say when you were talking about the very early turn. So you're talking about
doing it without an opponent.
Say for example turn 2 or turn when the opponent hasn't actually played any forwards out yet. And you want to do the S effect on stack of the entry.
It's just a separate statement that doesn't rely on the prior. So I'd say they.
So I'm wondering whether you get the discussion.
So I'm with you now. Sam just gave me the look of like, you've caught up, Phil. Congratulations. Don't blame you. It's fine.
Those sorts of things I like to double check. Because I know we've had cards, for example, in the past where you for example, I can't think of a card out there off the top of my head, like Belias. Where it was draw 1.
Yeah, oh god, I still get panicked about that ruling.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's whether it fits into the same category as that. I just want to make sure.
Yeah. That's why I only call myself 70% sure, because rulings can be ethereal in this game sometimes.
In terms of actual standing on this list, I can't help but feel obliged to put it on bonus burst.
Yeah, it looks really strong. It
hurts me to say that it's going to be on the bonus because we're going to see too much.
Also, there are job
of it,
chaos that aren't dark cards, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
like the Earth one.
Well, there's many job.
Yes.
Sorry, card name chaos.
Oh, card name chaos. Yes, the card name chaos searches for a dark card. That Earth 6 CP chaos card.
But you should just chuck it in your deck for S fodder.
Then you just
and you can spam this S ability as well.
If I put him,
you're whittling your deck down by 10 each time though. So
if I put
but you could win the game in like 1 turn. If you just go and then like you said, you chuck those guys in, they haste swing for the last couple of damage after you S 3 times.
So if I put him up with Framilda and Terror, is that feeling appropriate, or is he more of a?
He's pretty sick, isn't he?
I think he's stupid, to be fair.
Okay, we'll go with that.
I'm a bit worried about him as well, actually.
I do think like he's not of a level of of annoyance of like Neo X death, because it's not. But because once he's done his thing, it's his thing. It's done his thing, right? But the ongoing S effect is the thing that's going to be the problem.
Yeah. And you.
Yeah.
I mean, should we whip up FFX now and see how many card name chaos we can shove in a deck?
Yeah, we can.
Without like clogging the hell out of it.
We can do it like in between our cards.
Yeah. Who's reading the next
who's
one?
the next one?
Yeah.
Moi.
So you
it's me.
Go for the next one, Jono.
So we've jumped from Dark into LB. So we're now into the LB Legends of Katesith. It's our Ice Legend for the LB set, and it's 6 EP, 8,000 power body, job Doll, category 7, limit break 3, which seems to be a common theme for most Legend LBs. It's got Brave, which is interesting. When Katesith enters the field, if you control 5 or more ice backups, freeze all the backups opponent controls, and your opponent discards 1 card. Now that says and, so that it has to have the freeze all and that happens, right?
Yeah, if it gets...
yes.
Well, yes, because you ETB, he would attempt to freeze it and do the other thing at the same time because they're related. You am at it, it stops both.
Yeah, it's one auto. Yeah,
it's one complete auto and one relies on the other. I call it A and B statement.
So
A then B.
In my opinion, if it was dull and freeze, I think this would be much better. The fact that it's not, it just relies upon your opponent having dull backups.
Yeah. So, yeah. I think it's a pseudo forecast because it's LB. Yeah?
Late game again, isn't it?
So it's a good reward, good value reward for getting to 5 ice backups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, they've got the discard guy for that as well, right?
Discard guy.
From last set box topper.
Oh, Kurosami.
Kurosami, yeah, of course.
But it's
so it's already doing well. If Ice has got to 5 backups, it's already doing well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe a win more card.
Win more.
It feels in terms of power, it's feeling like LB Leo. Like I would definitely be putting this in if I had the extra room in my ice deck. I would.
Oh, you're playing a mono ice deck. It's an auto include. I still don't think that means it's LB Leo somehow.
I just feel like there's a high probability that your opponent's backups are all going to be dull because you can create that.
Yeah.
Or if it happens on the stack, your opponent's responding, and then you can LB Leo afterwards.
I'm not going to argue any of that. Like, my argument is, how often are you getting to all your backups on ice?
I suppose it's 6 CP, which you need. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad. But yeah, a little bit win more, maybe.
Yeah.
But like at least it's a good playable LB. Like it's no little leader. It's better than that for sure.
That's for sure. I'm thinking like it's more of a soiree member. I don't think it's necessarily cardboard because in mono ice it's going to do a good job.
Yeah.
I think
We're well generous, aren't we? Looking at the remaining legends as well. Yeah, I'm going to go soiree member with that maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a bit...
Let me put him in and see what we think.
we can rejig if we feel like it's needed.
Although
it could be cardboard.
It's hard to assess, isn't it? Yeah, it could be cardboard.
Could be cardboard.
Comparing him to like the Vincent, which has got the really good backup, the really good ability if it comes in. Sarah's got really good reduction. He's Exenville's got the kind of really good playability. But then again, I don't.
It's a limit break card, and that's what we've got to continue to think is a limit break card that is a side deck card. It's not. If you had this in hand, you'd be like, "Fuck off! I'm not playing this." You know what I mean?
If my opponent fires down, the 3 ice backups on mono ice, and they just get to 5 on turn 2.
Do you know what?
I'm scared because I know that exists now.
This is perfect against mono wind for sure.
Nah.
No, they can activate it. No.
Oh, I don't know. If you do fire your backups down that quick in theory, but like that'd be such a brave way to play against.
Again though, you've got like I said mono wind because I'm thinking, cut their resources, but actually they've got reactivation in everything they do. Yeah. So
it's kind of funky in Ice Wind late game because you can play it for cheaper off of Sid Haze and just freeze all your opponent's shit and make them discard.
But you need the ice backups. So if you have any wind backups, he doesn't do his thing.
Oh, true. Yeah, no, ignore me. That's completely a null and void statement. I'd probably go with soiree member.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because him being an LB balances it, like you say.
That's right.
Like, he's got cardboard text, but he's an LB, so he's kind of immediately a bit higher.
Yeah. I do feel that's the sort of the place, right?
Yeah.
Who's reading next?
Me.
Nice.
So we have got.
You carry on. Sorry, I was literally just going to say that the art of Kate Sith is exactly the same artist that did Vincent, and there's literally night and day in terms of
That artist has got range.
it's got child artist.
So we're going for Aiko.
Jen Kobayashi.
Aiko. So we've now got Aiko with her favourite
based.
turnip.
Yeah.
Who said about the turnip?
Steve D and his
Steve D. Yeah. Turnip mog.
He's been mentioned again.
This art is so nice.
So we have got 6-drop Earth Aiko LB. She is a forward, category 9, limit break 3, job summoner. You can only cast Aiko if you have a total of 9 or more summons in your break zone and/or summons you own removed from the game. When Aiko enters the field, you may search for one summon and remove it from the game. You can cast it without paying its cost this turn. And she's an 8k body. Sam, who did you have to sleep with at Square Enix to get this card printed for Una?
I was like, give me an LB for my Una deck. Please.
I'll trade having this LB and I'll let you print from Elder.
Deal with the devil.
Yeah.
It's like the cursed Frogurt from The Simpsons.
Okay.
I love this art. It's doing wonders for me. Wow.
I thought you were going to be like, she's serving. She's serving summoner realness.
I can't tell because of the thing, but it looks like she's roller skating. Am I just like...
I want her to roller skate now.
I don't think she is. Look closely.
I can see underneath the black.
Skipping, I guess.
Yeah, I can see underneath the box at the bottom. There's a pink Moogle that looks really interesting.
Yeah.
Looks like a handbag.
Oh my god.
So, in person, you just give her job summoner, and she auto fits like a decent job as well. To be fair, like this. Like she adds to Braska's final Aeon.
Right. This is so gross. Though.
But playing 7 cost Odin from deck. It's just
I mean, there's summons that like that crazy arc that shrinks things. Like you can do silly things with this.
You can play arc. You can play arc from deck.
Yeah. You can play the arc from deck.
Playing arc from deck is highly disgusting.
The only thing this has in a lot of summon-based decks is the name clash with Aiko and the water backup.
Yes.
So it's a huge name clash.
But the thing about that is that which one would you rather have, especially in a deck like yours, Sam, where you rely upon, say, however many summons in the break zone?
Yeah.
They are going to be removed from game, but you can it counts removed from game as well.
I love that they put that caveat.
Yeah.
So you can do your S effects for.
You can do my light Una recursion effect.
Yeah, light Una recursion effect. But there's also say for example you're removed from game deck. You know your break zone gets removed from game. You can still count the summons that have been removed from game, say from Mist Dragon.
Yeah.
So you're just like, well, I'll just do that anyway, and it doesn't make a difference where your summons are placed.
So while I love this for my Una deck, I am a bit worried it's making Arc a bit too abusable. I'm paying 4 for Arc is good for them because they're making you discard 4 CP and breaking a forward, right?
Yes.
But I guess that's fairer than a lot of the things that happen.
Yeah.
I know it's like pseudo 4, but it's a 6 cost LB, so it's not exactly splashable. You've got to be a little bit into your game to play this card.
Mm-hmm.
What it takes the edge off for me. It's still amazing, but it's got its edge marginally.
If I'm getting aggroed down by a tempo deck, I'll discard 3 cards to kill their Tyvas and make them discard 2.
Yeah, I suppose if we're just putting it's Arc in every single deck ever, but it does. Yeah, but you can't do it early because you've also got to have 9 summons.
You have to have 9. Yeah. Sorry, I'm being slow here.
So it is a very. It's a mid to late game card, and at that point, again, I'm concerned about the name clash.
Yeah, and how many summons do most Chaos Arc decks play? 15 tops.
You've got Garnet. You've got
summons.
Oh,
summons. I thought it said job summoner.
You've got between
not
10
many.
to 15 summons.
Yeah. And so at least it does benefit Una deck a bit more because I'm going 20 summons on that deck.
Exactly. You've got a good chance of this being decent in your deck.
I think the bottom text is basically the biggest busted thing, but it's nice and balanced. with LB3.
I'm really glad that you can't play this early game, like you said.
Yeah, and an index that, like, say, Water Earth, for example, or Chaos Arc. Well, Chaos Arc is a little bit Earth Water anyway, but like you want to have your other LBs available for Leo as well. Yeah. And this is a really hefty. So I do feel like it's cracked.
Yeah. It's a one-time
take
play.
Half your LB deck away.
It's giving me LB Leo energy because it's nice and balanced. It's a very cracked card, but it's balanced.
I can safely, looking at it, I would say this is very safe to say that it's on Mont Leonis and Tidus level of LB. I think. And I definitely think that. Oh, when you're talking about sorry, when you're talking about LB Leo, I genuinely didn't think you were talking about tier listing. I thought you were talking about the actual card is like on that same level as
well. It kind of works anyway.
But like I think it's on the level of the Fire and Water LB legends we've had.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say those cards are that tier as well.
Yeah, I'd say so, definitely.
Yeah. Cool. I'm happy with that.
Good.
So then we've got one last card.
And that's me, right?
Left.
It's got the LB Edge. 6 CP LB card is a forward. Category 4 Ninja is the job. Limit break 3. When Edge enters the field until the end of the turn, all the forwards of Lightning, Job Ninja, and Card Name Ninja you control gain. When this forward attacks, choose one forward opponent controls, deal it 7,000 damage. And he's got 8k power.
Oh, okay.
This, like I said, isn't there a fire backup called Blacksmith that's 4 CP that does this? It's like a common.
I'm going to look it up. I have to check that because I don't know.
I can just hear French screaming from down south, just like, I love this card.
Yeah. Well, it fits this mono lightning, doesn't it, really?
I love that meme. That meme I put in of like French seas cardboard. This can go in my mono lightning deck. Isn't it neat?
One second. I'm just pulling up this Blacksmith. So Blacksmith says when he enters the field until the end of the turn, all forwards you control gain when this forward attacks. Yeah, basically the same for a 4 CP thing.
But
it's in fire. Ninjas can be in fire. Yep. This is doing exactly the same thing. But if you were to put both on the same card,
you play a Blacksmith and play an Edge.
Yeah,
just for the memes.
Just for 14k.
Look, my 14k swings.
But the fact that it affects just any lightning card like automatically.
Yes.
So the fact is, I'm agreeing with you here. It's like it's LB in your lightning or your ninja deck. It's an auto include even if you don't play it every game, right?
Of course.
Yeah. Control like 2 forwards, for example, mid to late game. You play this Edge, you're doing 14k across 2 pits of damage. Like, it's a big value.
Yeah, of course. If you have, it makes cards that were not really that like brilliant. I'm thinking for some reason my head went to Ewan. Like it's a one CP breaker thing if something's got damaged. It plays into that very much lightning theme, but also Edge can give Ewan 1k swing and kill and break something for almost 9k because Ewan's a 2k body.
Mm-hmm. I think strategically this card, in theory, it's doing more for ninjas because that's a swarm deck. Yes. Whereas Mono Lightning's a bit more of a mid range.
But you're name clashing with the Wind Edge that did the swarmy stuff.
But that's the thing, they want to kill Wind Edge, right?
Yeah.
They want you to stop throwing shurikens.
Yes.
So then you slap this guy down, you're like, oh, I've got removal in another way.
Yeah, true.
Like, oh, look, all my little ninjas are swinging now. But it's not that good.
No.
But, I mean, did Lightning need that gas? Do they have a wide board that needs this kind of push?
I don't feel it needs it. And plus, the one thing that hits me hard is the fact that it says until the end of turn. After that one turn is just a vanilla guy.
Just an 8k guy.
You know it's giving little Leela energy, but actually it's worse because it's an auto in a way. It's not worse. It's faster. But little Leela is bad, but she also is an auto base, so it kind of balances for really niche situations. Whereas this is very front loaded.
He dies on entry to Amat, but then every card does at this moment in time. Yeah.
I wanted to say because it was an LB card, it's like LB Leo's here, but actually it's giving because like Lightning at the moment has the Lightning LB, which had summons, which is generically great for Lightning decks.
Yeah, but it doesn't get played.
It has Cloud,
really good.
Yeah, so this doesn't. It adds quite a bit, but it's still.
I don't think it.
I'm actually saying this is cardboard.
Yeah.
Ooh. Got 2 for cardboard?
I read it as I would if I was running a anything with lightning, whether it was mono lightning or anything with lightning, even if I was running a ninja deck, I would probably say 1 of this in that rather than what I would do for like Tidus and stuff, go 2 of. You know what I mean? Yeah. I can't play this at any time that makes me feel comfortable, you know? So I'm probably going to say cardboard.
Yeah. Okay, we've got 2 for cardboard. I can't wait to hear French. I cannot wait. So we've now got our first ever Slice and Dice tier list. Which is exciting.
Are we going to move one down though?
So let's just cover every category.
I mean, let's just reread. I'm going to reread Adele now, just to like. So haste, 0 action ability. Activate all the wind characters other than Adele you control. She will not activate during your next active phase, which actually negates her own value that she's created. Now I think about it. You can use this, but only use this while she's attacking and only once per turn. So technically, as well, she can be removed on the stack.
Yeah,
like, removed.
Super interruptible. Like swinging on wind. There is no wind aggro deck. Even if you did play a wind aggro deck, she might not pay for herself because you might pay 1 backup.
Brother.
Thinking about it, Ritz was better for this at the time, you know.
Yeah.
Ritz was 100% better.
She's worse than Ritz.
What's that, brother? I'm quite proud. I feel proud. I don't know why, but I do. Look at the wonderful child we've produced.
Brings a tear to my eye.
It feels balanced, and I think that's how.
Is he just going to gloss over that pun?
Wait, what pun?
Even he didn't catch it.
I've got ADHD. What's your excuse?
I probably didn't hear it. I was focused.
I'm not going to repeat it. You can hear it when you listen back.
Oh, okay.
We're all going to sit on ourselves now.
Okay. But yeah, no, I'm very happy with it. Maybe that's why I feel proud. But I'm sure I can't wait to get any form of comic back coming.
Yeah, honestly.
Oh yeah, I hope we're wrong about
Which
Vincent, and I hope Examil is better. And I hope we're also wrong about Crystal Lady.
Venar, yeah.
Tall Planet Crystal Lady. That's what I'm going to call her.
I personally hope I'm wrong about Sarah. I want Sarah to be better because I really like Sarah, but that's just a soft spot for
Captain. The art on that card is beautiful as well. We didn't even mention it. The pink hair and the blue eyes. Whew.
Yeah. Well, you were saying that, Sam, you noticed the difference between, the similarities between Caius and Sarah.
Yeah. Why they both got clocks and then no mechanical similarity at all? Like,
again, that's an artistic...
Maybe they'll go in the same deck at a stretch.
Yeah, again, that's the same. I think that's an artistic choice in terms of they came from the same game. They had this clock related theme, but why? I think that's a good idea. You know, include similar artworks for mechanics. But at the same time, you've got what's his name? Sorry, I don't know if it's he or she, but Ryoma Ito, who does the TA stuff and everything like that.
Nice.
That all that artwork's the same, and it's all pretty. And
I love
nice.
it. Yeah.
Mainly Invilis stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been on for a long time.
Our longest podcast yet.
I hope you guys enjoyed it, because actually this probably has been the most freeing sort of episode that we've done.
It's been very chill, yeah.
Yeah, and we've enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I think we were going to dive.
If you have listened this long, we thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate
listening to us being silly about cards.
I think we were going to talk about what we see in the future of FFTCG with this set, but with the time that we've got going so far, should we leave that for maybe next time?
Maybe that'll be next episode.
Yeah.
We'll just chat about the meta when we've experienced it a little bit. I
think that sounds fair.
Yeah,
I mean, it's looking promising, and it's looking like it's going to shift a few things around in the meta.
Yeah, these monsters look so strong, and that bloody witch, holy moly!
Oh,
like, why are the heroes stronger than the legends?
They look more appealing, that's for sure. I'm quite excited to build something around.
Witch Defense is highly disgusting, and it just goes with Siren so easily.
Yeah, like, you were monster man. Like, you were monster mad for like a few sets, and you sat. I haven't actually seen you speak up about monsters yet in the same sort of energy. So it'll be interesting to see how far you get with, like you say, your ideas and monsters.
We'll see how it goes.
Anyway. But thank you guys for sticking around for a 2-hour-long episode. Hopefully this has been music to your ears, and we hope to see you in the competitive season in Hidden Trials.
Hell yeah. See you guys. Cheers.
See you in Huddersfield.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.